Hey guys, it's Will, and I originally wasn't planning on making a video on this absolute clown show that has been the last couple of days, but Gaijin has proved yet again that they don't care about the players at all. From overtly monetizing and making it unbearable without spending ungodly amounts of money on the game, to not listening to the community when the majority of players have been asking for certain changes for years, only to not just be ignored, but they are blatantly being malicious in changes to the game, which is primarily what I want to talk about today. As for the extremely monetary hungry aspect of this company, that is in my opinion worse than even EA. That can be saved for another video, but my friend SteelXWolf has already made some good videos on the topic from a while ago, but they do still hold up, and I'll try to remember to link it for those that are interested. What Gaijin has said in the last couple of days in their supposed responses to the community are actually appalling, and they are blatantly lying to the players in an attempt to gaslight them. And before I get into the shitstorm that has been these announcements, I did really quickly want to thank my members for supporting the channel. So thank you to Jack Thomas and Freezing Cold in Tier 1, thank you to Highlight 132 in Tier 4, and thank you so much to Creamy in Tier 6. This is one of the top 2 PR disasters of all time coming from Gaijin, and it's almost impressive knowing that the worst was only a year ago. If you didn't know, Gaijin recently announced a few highly asked for and anticipated changes, only for them to do it in the worst way possible. The first of which was the addition of the ability to opt into lower player count battles at higher tiers. This would allow you the chance to get a battle that is between 6v6 to 12v12 instead of the standard 16v16. Despite the fact that multiple polls have been run by multiple different large content creators show that the vast majority of players want a lower player count, and Gaijin is showing us they do not care at all by these actions. Now you might be asking, doesn't this mean that players can get lower player counts like they wanted? This isn't the case, since it still means you are likely to get a lot of 16v16 matches, and I can tell you from experience, there are a shocking amount of players who don't read any of the news and would have no idea that this option even exists if they would like to use it. In addition, this should have been a button to allow people to opt out of 16v16 entirely or to opt into 16v16, both accomplishing the same thing. And if it goes like how I and many other CCs expect, getting a sub 16v16 match will be extremely rare. I don't mind allowing players who want 16v16 to continue playing it, though that is the vast minority. Gaijin originally implemented 16v16 over a year ago in March for some reason that we will never be told. Immediately after, players and content creators alike asked them to reduce it again, only for it to be ignored for around a year before they acknowledged it and told us they were looking into it, which was a half-assed response, especially knowing their supposed solution makes them look like they hate the entire player base with every ounce of their corporate being. However, I honestly really can't tell if they are genuinely fucking brain dead or if they just want to piss off every single player for some reason. It hasn't even been a full year since the review bombing due to their awful economy changes that they had planned, and they did this kind of shit again. I even edited my review on Steam yesterday again due to these changes and the lack of care for the community. However, this isn't even the worst part of the recent announcements. Last week, Gaijin had announced the long-awaited separate battle ratings for aircraft and ground and air battles, which was something people have been asking for a long time, literally years, so everyone was happy when we first learned this would come. The primary reason for this request was for many attackers to be moved up only in ARB, as they had all-aspect high-overload G-missiles meant for self-defense, and they were facing subsonic jets with no countermeasures. So if you saw a missile coming at you, you might as well just J out and save yourself a few seconds. This also wouldn't be as bad if Gaijin were to decompress battle ratings like everyone has been asking for about the past 4 years or so, but we all know that it will never happen at this point. Yet, despite the fact that we wanted the ground attack aircraft to move up in ARB and stay where they were in ground RB, Gaijin did the exact opposite by lowering battle ratings in ARB and changing the ground RB battle ratings in a way that will be worse than you can possibly think. The original set of BRs that they put out last week were awful and lowered the BRs of various aircraft in ARB, like the A7K, which has 9Ls and previously was at a fine BR of 11.0. The ground BRs got even worse since they raised the battle ratings of nearly every single top tier attacker except for the SU-25 and SU-25K, of course, because why would they? As you can see by the chart in the background, many of these attackers will get absolutely ass blasted since these clowns over at Gaijin Entertainment, or as I like to call it Gaijin Asylum, decided to raise the BRs of these planes so they can see stuff like the Pantsir now and can do absolutely nothing about it. Earlier today, they uploaded a response on the forums altering their changes, making many of them somehow even worse. This response was full of some of the most stupid takes I have ever seen, and the only way I can see that it was greenlit is if they had a 12-year-old unpaid intern write it and post it, since most employees of Gaijin are probably illiterate. They lowered the battle ratings of top-tier aircraft and ground battles for no reason, and part of their logic here is that they claim to view fighter capabilities as secondary somehow, and apparently by secondary it means that they're okay with subsonic planes getting nuked from orbit by Mach 2 capable planes with 15+ kilometer range missiles. This is actually just such an insane response that I refuse to believe the devs actually play the game. It's really sad seeing a game that has so much potential being shoved into a damn wood chipper at least once a year by the company that has probably made billions off of it and will continue to make more. Even worse, they released a pre-order for the Leopard 2A4M, which was yet another $70 premium around an hour before releasing this response, so that people would have their time to pre-order before learning about this hate boner Gaijin has for everyone who plays. The memes about them only caring about the whales aren't even accurate, since it seems like they equally despise every single player who plays their game for some reason. I'm not even sure if they care so much about the money or if they just want to torture the community because they can, and they know people will keep playing even with the bullshit. The fact that they posted it on the forum and didn't even make a dev blog shows that they wanted to make sure as few people saw it as possible, even though the original was a dev blog, since they knew people would be mad. Enough people don't check the dev vlogs, and even less people check the forums, where they will delete your comment if they feel like it. The dev vlogs are even worse, since everything has to be pre-moderated, and they can just ignore it if they don't like your criticism, to the point where you probably would have more free speech in 1940s Germany than on Gaijin's website. As for Gaijin not wanting to raise the BRs of some attackers in Era B, their argument is that after using all of their all-aspect missiles, they don't have the flight performance to compete with higher-ranked aircraft. However, some of these aircraft have up to 4 long-range all-aspect 30G missiles, notably the A-10A late. But the problem with this is that these aircraft should never be facing subsonics with no flares in Era B, and Gaijin's cope here is insane. The missiles should allow some self-defense at higher tiers, but as Gaijin said themselves, they are attackers in the first place, and they shouldn't be acting as fighters, since they are quite literally not. Another point in the post was about players supposedly thinking that these attackers and apparent bomb carriers were too high and should go down in VR, but they would have to lower rewards for some reason. However, this is just even more insane cope bullshit, since people don't want these aircraft lowered, and it seems like they're just being schizophrenic as hell, since they can't even make up their minds as to what they think players want, but they know that they will do anything they can to upset players. This ignoring of players' constant stream of feedback is ridiculous, and I can't wait for them to double down, and I would be shocked if they backpedal at all, since it took tens of thousands of people review bombing them and demanding changes last year to do anything. However, you would have thought they would have learned their lesson, but here they are less than a year later announcing 2 awful changes within a week just to gaslight players. I genuinely think that the majority of the employees at Gaijin are either brain dead and are just smashing buttons, or they have just gotten so much money that they can toy with players and smile as they watch players plead for things so long only to give them hope and then immediately snatch it from their hands to laugh as they get mad knowing nothing can be done. War Thunder is a game I have played for a long time and have enjoyed a lot, but it's shit like this that really gets to me, knowing that they just don't actually care. I wish I had a solution other than to just complain and hope that they change their mind, but it's probably no good. If you guys got anything out of this video, please subscribe so when this game inevitably dies due to Gaijin's constant bullshit, at least I've gotten something semi-permanent from it.